What if the thing holding you back isn't your boss? It isn't the economy. It isn't your ex. And it isn't bad luck. What if the wall you keep hitting is you? Welcome back. Today we are dissecting a book that is a slap in the face to your ego and a hug to your soul. The Mountain is You by Brianna Wiest. We've all heard the metaphor. Life is a climb. You have to conquer the mountain. But Brianna Wiest flips the script entirely. She argues that the mountain isn't a challenge in front of you. The mountain is a block within you. Here is the brutal truth. You are self-sabotaging. You have a gap between where you are and where you want to be. You try to close it, but you meet resistance. You procrastinate. You pick fights. You eat the junk food. Why? Because your mountain is the conflict between your conscious desire for more and your unconscious desire to stay exactly where you are. By the end of this video, we are going to dismantle that mountain, rock by rock. We're going to learn why you destroy your own success and how to transform that self-sabotage into self-mastery. Let's climb. First, we need to delete a virus from your programming. You probably think self-sabotage happens because you hate yourself. You think you lack willpower, or maybe you're just broken. Wrong. Self-sabotage is not a way to hurt yourself. It is a way to protect yourself. Let me tell you a story about the famous psychologist Carl Jung. When he was a kid, he fell at school and hit his head. In that moment of pain, he had a thought. Maybe I won't have to go back to school now. Jung hated school. He didn't fit in. So guess what happened? He started having fainting spells every time he had to return to class. It wasn't fake, it was real. But it was his subconscious mind creating a neurosis to save him from the discomfort of the classroom. This is what you are doing. Self-sabotage is just a maladaptive coping mechanism. It is your brain giving you what you need, safety, comfort, familiarity, without addressing the real problem. Maybe you sabotage relationships because you're afraid to be alone, so you create drama to force a connection. Maybe you sabotage your career because you equate success with being disliked or lonely. Your brain is designed to survive, not to thrive. To your primitive brain, the unknown is death. Even if the unknown is a better job, a healthier body, or a loving partner, if it is unfamiliar, your brain views it as a threat. So you sabotage. You choose the misery you know over the happiness you don't. So what does this look like in real time? Brianna Wiest identifies specific behaviors that we all ignore. The first is resistance. You know that feeling? You have a great idea for a business. You're excited. But the moment you sit down to work, you feel tension. You feel angry. You suddenly need to clean the entire kitchen. That is resistance. And here is the secret. We rarely feel resistance toward things that are bad for us. We feel resistance toward things that are right for us. Resistance is your ego trying to block you from stepping into your power. It's a sign you are going the right way. Then there is the upper limit problem. Imagine you have a happiness thermostat. Maybe your setting is moderately stressed. Suddenly, something great happens. You get a raise. You fall in love. Your happiness temperature spikes. But your internal system panics. You are above your limit. So you unconsciously create a problem to bring yourself back down to your baseline. You pick a fight with your partner. You overspend. You get sick. You are trying to get back to the feeling you are comfortable with, even if that feeling is anxiety. Another sign? Uprooting. This is for those of you who are addicted to the fresh start. You change cities, jobs, or relationships constantly. You think you are adventurous. But Wiest says uprooting is often a way to avoid facing the problems within you. You are comfortable with the process of sprouting, but you are terrified of the process of blossoming. You never stay long enough to do the deep work. And the biggest saboteur of all? Perfectionism. We wear perfectionism like a badge of honor. Oh, I just care too much about quality. Stop lying to yourself. Perfectionism is not about wanting things to be right. It is about fear. It is a defense mechanism to keep you from being seen, judged, or criticized. If you don't finish the project, nobody can judge it. If you don't launch the business, you can't fail. Wiest drops a hammer here. We sabotage ourselves because it is the willingness to show up and simply do it, again and again, that ultimately brings us to a place of mastery. You don't need to write a bestseller today. You just need to write. You don't need a Grammy-winning song. You just need to make music. So, how do we stop this? You can't just try harder. That's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. Eventually, it pops up. You have to identify your core commitments. These are the hidden desires that are actually driving your behavior. Let's play detective. Look at your struggle. If you struggle with financial instability and you keep blowing your money, maybe your core commitment isn't to be poor. Maybe your core commitment is freedom. You associate a structured budget with a cage, so you rebel against it. If you stay in toxic relationships, maybe your core commitment is to feel needed. If you date a broken person, you get to be the savior. If they were healthy, they wouldn't need you, and you'd feel abandoned. Your self-sabotage is a cover-up for a core need. If you need to be in control, your core need is trust. If you need to be loved by others, your core need is self-love. The behavior won't stop until you find a healthy way to feed that need. This brings us to the concept of rock bottom. We tend to fear rock bottom, but Wiest argues that rock bottom is the turning point. Rock bottom is when you finally realize, I never want to feel this way again. It isn't a bad day. It's the moment when your coping mechanisms stop working. It's when the pain of staying the same finally becomes greater than the pain of changing. You don't change your life in a breakthrough moment where the clouds part. You change your life when you are fed up, when you are filled with a sacred rage, not at the world, but at your own complacency. That breakdown? That's the entryway. The mountain is calling you. But acknowledging the mountain is only step one. Climbing it? That requires something most of us are terrible at: feeling our feelings. In the next part of this breakdown, we are going to talk about emotional intelligence. Why you are likely psychic thinking your way into anxiety. Why your gut instinct might actually be trauma lying to you. And how to release the past for good. You are not broken. You are just protecting yourself from a life you don't think you deserve yet. Let's change that. We have to talk about the lies your brain tells you to keep you safe. Most of us think we are trusting our gut or waiting for a sign. Brianna Wiest says that for most self-saboteurs, your gut is actually just your trauma talking. And that sign you're waiting for? It's a hallucination. One of the most dangerous things we are told is to trust your feelings. Wiest drops a truth bomb here. Your feelings are not always accurate reflections of reality. They are, however, always accurate reflections of your thoughts. If you think you are unworthy, you will feel unworthy. That feeling is real, but the fact is false. We often mistake fear for instinct. You meet someone new and you panic. You think, my gut is telling me they will hurt me. No, that is not your gut. That is your amygdala projecting your past trauma onto your future. Your gut instinct can only function in the present moment. It tells you, I am uncomfortable right now. It cannot predict, this person will cheat on me in 3 years. That is what Wiest calls psychic thinking, and it is a cognitive distortion. So, how do you tell the difference? This checklist from the book is life-saving. 1. Volume. Intuitive thoughts are quiet. They are a gentle nudge. This isn't for me. Intrusive thoughts are loud. They scream, if you don't leave now, you will die alone. 2. The result. Intuitive thoughts solve problems. Intrusive thoughts create problems. 3. The feeling. Intuition feels like calm clarity, even if the news is bad. Fear feels like panic. If you are panicked, you are not having a premonition. You are having a trauma response. Now, let's talk about why you feel so heavy. Wiest uses a brilliant analogy: your emotional backlog. Imagine your emotions are like emails. Every time you feel sad, angry, or jealous, a new message hits your inbox. If you ignore it, if you scroll Instagram, drink a beer, or stay positive to avoid feeling it, that email doesn't get deleted. It stays unread. You think you are controlling your emotions by suppressing them, but suppression is just delayed explosion. Eventually, you have 10,000 unread emails. Your system lags. You feel numb, or you explode over something small, like dropping a spoon. Wiest explains that unprocessed emotions become embodied. They get stuck in your muscles. Fear lives in your stomach. Grief lives in your chest. Burden lives in your shoulders. So, how do we clear the inbox? You have to do the one thing you are terrified to do. Feel it. Wiest suggests a technique called the breath scan. You sit, you breathe without pausing, and you notice where the breath snags or gets stuck in your body. That snag? That's the trapped emotion. You don't need to analyze it. You don't need to write a poem about it. You just need to let the physical sensation pass through you. You have to cry, sweat, or shake. Healing is not an intellectual exercise. It is a physical release. We are addicted to the breakthrough. We want that movie moment where the music swells, we realize our worth, and suddenly our life is fixed. Brianna Wiest has bad news for you. That moment will never come. Breakthroughs don't change your life. Micro-shifts do. A micro-shift is tiny. It is changing what you eat for one part of one meal, just one time. It is reading one page, meditating for 30 seconds. Why so small? Because your brain is anti-fragile, but also terrified of change. If you try to change everything at once, you trigger adjustment shock. Your subconscious screams, "This is unsafe," and you self-sabotage to get back to normal. Think of the penny analogy. Would you rather have $1 million today or a penny that doubles every day for a month? Take the penny. After 31 days, you have over $10 million. This is how self-mastery works. You don't need a revelation. You need to drink a glass of water. You need to deny yourself the urge to check your phone one time. Stop waiting for the epiphany. Start stacking the pennies. This brings us to the hardest part of the climb. The baggage you are dragging up the mountain, the past. We are told to let go. But Wiest says you cannot force yourself to let go, no matter how much you know you want to. Trying to force yourself to forget is like trying not to think of a white elephant. You just think about it more. So, how do you actually move on? You don't let go by releasing. You let go by building. You let go on the day you realize that you will never find peace standing in the ruins of what you used to be. You have to build a new life so immersive, so engaging, so demanding of your attention that the old life naturally fades away because there is no room for it. But there is one psychological trick Wiest recommends for the deep wounds. It's called superimposing a narrative. Go back to the memory that hurts. The breakup, the failure. Visualize your younger self sitting there crying. Now imagine your current self, the one who survived, the one who is watching this video, sitting next to them. Tell them, I know it hurts, but I also know what happens next. You make it. You become stronger. This ends up being the best thing that happened to us. You can't change the event, but you can change the story you tell yourself about it. We have stopped the intuitive lies. We have started the micro shifts. We have begun to build the new city. But we aren't at the summit yet. In the final part of this guide, we are going to talk about the ultimate goal. It isn't happiness. Happiness is overrated. It is anti-fragility and self-mastery. And I'm going to give you the specific power questions Wiest uses to design your future self. Don't stop now. The view from the top is worth it. We have arrived at the final ascent. In part 1, we learned that self-sabotage is just misguided self-protection. In part 2, we learned that your gut instinct is often just your trauma in disguise. Now, we answer the biggest question of all. What is at the top of the mountain? Most people think the answer is happiness. They are wrong. The goal isn't to be happy. The goal is to be free. We are obsessed with happiness. We chase the promotion, the partner, the body, thinking, once I have that, I will be happy forever. Brianna Wiest calls this the happiness trap. Here is the science. When you achieve a huge goal, your dopamine spikes. You feel amazing for a minute. And then you return to your baseline. If your baseline is anxious and insecure, no amount of success will fix it. You will just be anxious and insecure in a nicer house. Wiest argues that we need to trade our desire for happiness for a desire for inner peace. Happiness is fickle. It depends on things going right. Inner peace is anti-fragile. It stays steady even when things go wrong. True self-mastery is realizing that you don't need to feel good all the time to be okay. You need to build a life that supports you, not a life that just entertains you. This requires a shift from living by feelings to living by principles. Feelings say, I don't want to work today. Principles say, I value my future, so I will work anyway. Wiest writes, principles are boring. They aren't inspiring. They are the laws of nature. But boring works. Boring builds empires. Boring climbs mountains. There is a concept Wiest touches on that changes everything. Anti-fragility. Most things break under pressure. Glass is fragile. But your mind? Your mind is anti-fragile. Like your immune system needs germs to get stronger, your mind needs adversity. If you shield yourself from every challenge, if you sabotage your success to stay in your comfort zone, you are actually making yourself weaker. You are denying your brain the very food it needs to evolve. We create problems for ourselves because we are bored. The human brain craves a challenge. If you don't give it a worthy mountain to climb, like building a business, healing a trauma, or mastering a skill, it will create a mountain out of nothing. It will obsess over a text message. It will invent drama with a friend. Stop fighting fake monsters. Go fight a real dragon. Your mind wants to be used. Use it. So how do we direct this energy? How do we know which mountain is the right one? Wiest provides a powerful visualization exercise, meeting your highest potential future self. I want you to try this later. Close your eyes. Imagine a beautiful, quiet room. You are sitting at a table. You invite your future self to walk in. This is the version of you who has already made it. They have climbed the mountain. They are peaceful. They are powerful. Don't just look at them. Ask them for the keys. Imagine them handing you the keys to your new life, or a piece of advice. Ask them, what do I need to stop doing right now? Ask them, what matters most? Wiest says the answers you get in this state are your intuition speaking. This is your GPS. Your future self is just you, stripped of your current fears. We have covered a lot. We realize that self-sabotage is just a safety mechanism. We learn to stop trusting our panicked thoughts. We learn to take small steps, micro shifts, instead of waiting for a miracle. But here is the final lesson of The Mountain is You. In the end, it is not the mountain that you must master, but yourself. The mountain was never the enemy. The mountain was the gym. The hard things in your life, the heartbreak, the failure, the confusion, they weren't in the way. They were the way. Wiest writes, "One day, this mountain will be behind you, but who you become in the process of getting over it will stay with you always. You are not broken. You are just building. The old version of you can't survive the climb. That's why it feels like you are dying. Let that version go. Step out of your own way. Your life is waiting for you on the other side." If you want to master your life, you need to read this book. It is a manual for human transformation. If this series helped you identify your mountain, hit that like button and tell me in the comments, what is one micro shift you are going to make today? Just one. I'll see you at the top.